happening, weirdos? This is the return of one of my best friends in the world, James Beshara. He is brilliant. He is an angel investor. He is an entrepreneur. He started the company Magic Mind. He started many companies that we know of. He invested in companies that we know of now, like OpenAI. He had a lot to say about the future of artificial intelligence. Didn't see that coming. I thought we were just going to talk about Vedanta, non-duality. We do. I thought we were just going to talk about friendship, parenting, all that fun stuff. We do. But we get into a lot of stuff that I was not expecting, stuff that we did not cover the first time around. You guys are in for a treat. I'm so glad you're here. Not too much to plug on my end up top. If you're listening to this the week it came out, I am just barely coming out of a 6-7 day stomach flu. It's been awful. I only mentioned that to say that that's why I had to cancel Largo. Last week, I canceled the TV shoot that I had, and I also had to postpone my North Carolina and South Carolina tours. Stay tuned. We're going to announce a new date for those. I'm dreadfully and sincerely sorry to miss those. I was so looking forward to them. As soon as we have new dates, your tickets will be valid for the new date, or you can get a refund at the point of purchase. Go to peteholmes.com. When we announce that date, it'll be up there. In the meantime, the next date is at the end of February. I'll be in Miami, followed by Los Angeles, followed by Royal Oak, Michigan, Irving, Texas, Madison, Wisconsin, and Denver, Colorado. Go to peteholmes.com. Hope to see you out on the road. It means so much when you guys all come out. It means a lot. My new special, which is called Silly Silly Fun Boy, this is the first promo I've done for it, will be coming to YouTube in February. There's nothing really for you to do now. I guess you could subscribe to my YouTube channel, but I'll be blabbing about it, just kind of teasing it. Very excited. Silly Silly Fun Boy, my new hour, will be on YouTube, free for everybody to see. So that's it. In the meantime, enjoy my chat with the wonderful, the brilliant, the kind, the inspiring James Beshara. Get into it.
Use your microphone. We'll just begin.
All right, let's
because
do it.
That was kind of interesting.
I'm down to it.
I don't want to grade how interesting what you said was, but it was mid interesting.
I could spice it up if you want.
No. Not to me. It was 10 out of 10 to me, but I was like, I don't know if we want to start the episode with that.
Let's not. It's really behind the curtain on how much we went into making Magic Mind taste good. Yeah,
I think that stuff is interesting, but I think I'm in the minority.
You probably are, but those shows how it's made.
Yeah,
like it's so mesmerizing to see the manufacturing lines. Every time that I'm in our bottler, also, I'm like, I love it. I love watching
what is asked of them. It'll make me feel almost like patriotic that we have so many. Like if it's a beverage, the water needs to be this. Like it's, and I'm always like. Glory. Hallelujah. It really does.
And the manufacturing process is so dialed in. Each machine of the 5 machines does this special thing. And then every probably 18 months, a new machine comes out. And so
to replace it.
Our bottlers will be like, the TX 5000 is arriving on Friday. And yes, they love it. And I love it. I love it vicariously because of how much they love the tiny little improvements that come from it.
You're talking to a guy so Val was out of town last night, and so was Lee. They were both in LA, and I was just home alone. And when I'm left home alone, I'm like, okay, what can I do? And like, what am I really interested in? Like, what am I going to watch? I watch like iPhone settings videos. I want someone to tell me like
on
how
YouTube?
to go in.
Just going through.
Go in and which ones to turn off.
Dude,
meaning I'm this close to being interested in like which machine mixes matcha better so it's not gritty. Yeah. Like I could have been a good salesperson. I think I could have been a good entrepreneur, and I think I could have been a good like overseer of mechanization.
With the heights with the heights of what you've taken your career to, which is you are a master of your craft. And now I'm gonna spend 17 seconds highlighting things that you already know, but isn't it so helpful when someone highlights
I know.
things to give some objectivity?
I'm going to actually stop because you're not going to.
No.
This is what I love about you.
No.
This is what I love about you.
I get 17 seconds in the driver's seat. 17 seconds in the driver's seat just to say, top 10 comedian in the world. You have mastered your craft
to where it's like that's making a list of comedians. But go ahead.
Well, and now I'm being honest too because I didn't say the best. but
that's
top
right.
10.
That's right.
And I've said this to you years ago. I said the same thing. And you're my favorite comedian. But objectively speaking, that's right. And zooming out, objectively speaking, top 10 in the world at a craft that so many people around the globe
this is what you're good at. These are your...
And you spent your life becoming a master at it.
Put the violins... I mean this, like, put the violins behind this, and I'll watch the clip before I go out on stage. Because you're so good at giving love, finding, like, an authentic positive feeling. Like, I don't think of you as just, like, a general enthusiast. I think of you as somebody who takes time to consider not just like, what do I love about people? What do I love about things? What can we be authentically excited about? But also, how can I help? I really, like, if you put me into like a hypnotic twilight state, like really deep in my unconscious, I think of you as like this helper. Like, you know what I mean? Like just like a good guy, like your lightsaber's green.
I love helping, and it's pure. I think a lot of it is selfishness of youngest of 5 and a family with a lot of 4 different family members with bipolar, which is is statistically astronomically low odds of that.
Wait, and so everyone except you?
7 people. No, 7. So including the
7.
parents. Yeah.
Both parents?
No, one. My mother.
One parent?
Mother.
And a couple of your siblings?
That's right.
And what is bipolar? What does that look like? I know what it is, but what did it look like to you?
Yeah, it is.
I know what it is.
Yeah.
The guy that wants to not be vulnerable. I think I got it. You tell me what your life was like.
Dude, I do this all the time.
For the people who don't know how bipolar manifests.
Do you mind explaining?
But like manic?
Yeah.
Scary.
Yeah.
Mania is scary though.
So yeah, it is these oscillations between mania and depression. So extremely high highs, extremely low lows, and it's sensitive for the family members. I lost a sister to it was she had major depression. So during a major depressive episode, I lost her when I was 15. She took her own life, and she was 19, and it's a sensitive subject to talk about family members that I know that they love me so much, and they'll listen to things that I come on. So
you know the vibe of this conversation is
very
people are
much
listening.
So. Exactly. This is
want to know how to,
and this is for
understand.
the person that I've never heard anyone talk about this on a podcast.
Yeah.
So this is for anyone out there that 74% of adults will go through a life-altering mental health crisis in their life.
What does that even mean?
So 3 out of 4 will have it might be 2 days of mania. It might be 7 months of depression. It might be losing a job, go through a divorce, and be in the lows of lows for 12 months. And a 14-year-old sees their dad go through that. So 74%.
That tracks.
So nearly all of us will either directly or indirectly experience family member or oneself.
Last person in that 4 out of 4 is just like at the Dome in Vegas, watching John Mayer play with fish.
That's right. Never, bounces through life and never goes.
Just totally fine. Yes,
but they never go through it. They never kind of experience it, but they'll indirectly experience it if it's that high.
They'll
have a family
surrounded
member,
by people
spouse.
that do it.
Yes. So that's. I'm very open with all of these things as much as I can be, while respecting the sensitivity of certain family members. But the mania, and anybody that has gone through this will recognize that you'll just start to see a ramp up period of a family member that starts to say certain things. A friend starts to say certain things that's like, that's odd. Like I have a
grandiose claim.
Yes, like I had a friend in college that also went through bipolar, and I remember he came and picked me up. He's like, "Dude, jump in the car. I'm right outside." Got in the car, and I was like, "This is kind of a surprise visit." 9 p.m. on a Tuesday. I'm studying for a test tomorrow, and I remember it vividly. But he's like driven 15 minutes over to my side of town, so he's picking me up, and he's like, "I got something to tell you." So I get in the car, and he's like, going about 6 miles an hour, leaving our house. And
it's funny when slow is the scary one. Usually it's like they're peeling out and blowing stop signs, but this guy's going so slow,
this is the
you're
ramp
worried.
Up. Worried where it's like, okay, I could try to, and when I was 21, I for sure, just kind of like push it aside and rationalize it away. But I saw, now I know the pattern. And he was going 6 miles an hour and he goes, let's just creep. And I was like, interesting. Because I have no idea what he's doing over here. He's picking me up and he wants to just creep 6 miles an hour. He's laughing and I'm like, and I say this story because it's your rational mind could be, or if you want to rationalize it away, you're like, this is interesting. And a week later he wasn't sleeping.
Yeah.
For 3 days in a row. Yeah. And the insomnia adds to the chaos.
Yeah.
And then he ended up running his car into the house 3 houses down.
But he was only going 4, so
yeah,
it's fine.
Exactly. The lawn chair
Still
stopped
creeping.
it. But the
lawn chair overtook the car.
Yeah.
Seized it.
If you go slow enough.
Yeah.
And so it went from that, this is strange,
but it's
and quite literally 6 miles an hour to probably about 35 into the corner of a house 3 houses down.
Wow. Yeah, it's interesting because when I use the term manic, like I get manic, but that's maybe not appropriate because there's true mania, and I can
excitability is we use that term culturally as excitability.
I will have excitability that lasts. Let me put it this way, just because I want to bring it back to this guy. It's a level of excitability where I need to warn people that I will, if you talk to me, this is always my example, I will pitch a TV show about your life. Like I'll be like, I call it infinite potential. Yeah. It's actually quite wonderful when I direct it.
It's one of my favorite aspects of you. To see what others don't see or see what can be.
It is.
With these 3 pieces that anybody could put together, but you do it.
I'm with you. I would... look, I'm not saying I'm in this. I'm getting a taste of what I think your Nikola Tesla, some of the true great, but there's a madness to it as well, that they're like, I think it's 3, 6, and 9, and we can make electricity from the air. But that infinite potential, I get these little micro doses of it. And I just have to tell Val, I'll say we should live with James. James should live with, you know what I mean?
Dude,
I'll be
okay.
But I can't make decisions when I'm in that place.
Well,
I'm like, we gotta get the family over here
and break all precedent. Exactly, break all precedent. Break all of these artificial structures down and see what can be. And I think you and I similarly have. And by the way, this is so beautiful. Can we just kind of arrive at this moment for a second?
Sure.
That we
do this sometimes.
Remember
when we met at some hotel and I was like, let's just be here for a second? Yeah.
And that's why.
And I always remember it because we did that.
And who can I do this with? Where it's like, dude, we have traversed the traffic from you coming from Ojai, me coming from Malibu, and we just happened to pick a spot. About an hour.
That was inconvenient to both of us.
We, from the traffic to my wife, Cheney, who so adorably said 6 years ago, year before moving to LA, said, you and Pete Holmes should be friends. And then a year later, you sent me a note on Instagram. Hey, I'm loving this magic
she got
mind
that
stuff.
From just my work.
A year, yes. Wow. But we both loved your podcast.
Yeah.
Talked about Alan Watts more. You and I would drop that name more than anything that's healthy. And it was, and all of these things to what you've accomplished, to the show on HBO, the headline to everyone around the world, millions of people knowing who you are, the Netflix specials, all of these things. And on my drive here, I was like, man, I hope I can just get 30 seconds to all of the things that, and for anybody listening, the same thing is all of the things that you swore would make you happy if they happened. Yeah. The job, the spouse, the baby, they all happened. I just want to acknowledge the moment for 5 seconds.
Oh, thanks, man.
With you, buddy. Because it's, you're a special cat. And I think that's one of the reasons that we get on the same frequency so easily is that we both are, I think we have the unique chemical lottery ticket where we're hyper productive, but I don't know about you, but I don't have that genetic code that leads to extreme burnout and the depressive episodes that I've certainly had of 12, 13, 14 months of a depressive episode in my 20s, but not to the degree that you have almost rhythmic oscillations between mania and depression.
That's interesting. I would consider you, it sounds like I'm right, a more consistent four-cylinder burner. Like you're just going. Like I've never really I don't want you to feel less cool that you don't have like a smoky dark
I think
side.
consistency. I think that's by the way, I brought Magic Mind free because we're in the afternoon. So let me load up here before
You answer this scintillating question.
Exactly. And before I turn it to 5-cylinder.
Oh, 5-cylinder. But I've never really, when I've hung out with you when I've been low. I remember when we went to,
Really? When?
We went to, it was in this neighborhood. I think it's called Home. It was called Home.
You were low then?
Yeah. Yeah, I was anxious and depressed, yeah.
Buddy, you never.
I did.
I don't think you told me.
I did because, well, I didn't, I don't know if I.
No, because I remember where we went, had the,
I remember where we
brunch,
sat.
remember where we sat. Someone came over and said, is that Hindi on your hat? And you're like, oh, is it Hindi? I thought it was Sanskrit. And then, or other way around. And we had that, but no, I had no idea.
Okay, well, it's funny because, and this is a key fact, and it goes back to you helping, and it goes back to your family, what we're talking about, you being this helper, is I said to you, I was like, I have this live podcast I'm doing, and I'm stressed.
I remember that,
about selling tickets. It was like a big venue. And it was just one of those moments where, like, when I'm clear and regulated, I can really access, like, beauty and appreciation and gratitude. And it feels really fun to be a comedian with a podcast, with a show. But if I'm stressed and things start to get tight, it might have been financially, it might have just been literally the tickets were low. And I
went to that show and it was awesome, and the tickets weren't low at all by the time it all came together.
Yeah, it's. I'm not dismissing you. I'm just like, after the fact, anyone can be like, and it all worked out.
Right.
You know what I mean? But before it works out, you're like tight. But like, I am used to hanging out with people, and I like this, that I'll be like, just fucking sucks. Like, I think it's like a third full. John Hamm's going to be there. It's going to be embarrassing. Why did I do this? Like, why do I even do these things? And you, like, again, not artificial enthusiasm. You were just like, well, what can we do? And you brought up Jake Rohert, who does, I always feel weird saying his last name. It sounds like an alias.
Known Jake for 5 years. I've never said his last name out loud. I just see it on the text.
Rohert.
Rohert. Yep. Shout out Jake.
Shout out to the great Jake. Mm-hmm. You were like, can I get my buddy Jake to film it? Like, you'll do it, and then, like, even if it's not full, you can get clips. Like, you just, it's something really special that I want to highlight. Talk about infinite potential, but in a very small scope. You're just like, okay, you're stressed about the tickets. I'm not saying we can sell all the tickets. Like, you can keep promoting it, and people will come or they won't. But is there something we can do that will make doing it more valuable than just the podcast? And believe it or not, this was long enough ago that we weren't doing clips. Like, we weren't even filming the podcast at that time, I don't think. And you were like, my buddy Jake can come, set up cameras and film it. And we did, and we made clips. The show did end up selling. I don't know if it sold out, but it certainly felt sold out.
Yeah, it looks sold out from our
And then you like saw what was good. I understand there's ticket stress, but the show is good. You're going to do a good show. It will be good. How can we like magnify the positive? Like, you just control. It's like, what can we control? We can control this.
Make it a win no matter what in this area that we can control. Well, I'll say.
And Val jokes that, sorry, more compliment. Just fully interrupted you. Forgive me. But like.
No, I wish you talked more on the podcast with guests where you got. I love listening to you on other people's podcasts. So let's.
Oh, that's really nice. Don't you do that. Don't do that.
No.
Nope. This is your time, Jimmy.
If people haven't listened to it, go to listen to Know Thyself with Pete. Phenomenal conversation. But keep
thanks,
going.
Man. Nice little shout out. That was a fun one. I do love when I'm the guest, because then I just go like, oh, I'm going to talk the whole time.
And it's phenomenal.
It's like I'm going to go in a closet and eat a cake. Oh, you want me to talk?
Cheney, my wife was just this morning talking about a point that you made on the George Janko podcast that you also crushed.
Really?
So so the more you talk, the better in my book.
Oh, really? What was that?
You had said she goes.
Just because I look at that as a podcast that I sort of survived. I didn't think that I thrived.
By the way, I love that I know that you must have been like I'm going in the lion's den with a
I didn't
strict...
know that.
Oh, really?
You can see on camera when I put together, but there's no shade here.
Well, I loved the idea that it was like, Pete was like, man, I can dance with anybody, and this is going to be so strict and constrained, and like
I didn't know
that. Fit. Well, you put it together during the episode. I
believe there's a moment where I go, "Wait, are you guys Christians?" That's on the show. It's in the first like 3 minutes. I go, "Wait, are you guys Christians?" Because I love Christ, but I don't consider myself a Christian, and I hadn't talked to just like in it Christians in a long time. Even though I talked to like Richard Rohr, but it's so crazy that I'm like, that's a different thing. That's a totally different thing. I'm talking about like very devout people, and that was me putting it together.
Out what you had said that was so powerful. And by the way, I had taken it as you going into Lion's Den of like, okay,
that would have been so much cooler.
Tightrope walking.
If they do a biopic about me, please have it be that. That I was like, I'm smoking a cigarette, and I'm like, I can talk to anybody.
I'll go in there.
Give me Janko.
Yeah, exactly. That's because it's to his credit. I mean this as a compliment. He'll say anything about his beliefs and try to box people, put people in a corner, and corner them and make them submit.
I recall some of that, yeah.
In a way that is really aggressive.
The only part I really remember from that podcast is when he was like, every knee shall bow and every tongue confess that Jesus Christ is Lord to the glory of God the Father. I was like, man, I haven't heard that one
since
in a
grade.
minute.
Yeah. And that's kind of what it felt like, was like, man, this guy has one hell of a youth pastor in his ear.
Yeah.
That's helping him make sense of the world right now for where he is.
Yep.
And you took it so graciously. I felt like in a way that you were like, man, I reckon I see so much myself in you.
I do.
And I can't wait to chat with you in 10 years. And right now, maybe I'm the guy that plants a grenade that might not go off for a year, for a week, for 5 years. But in this conversation, I might plant grenades in a way that I'm sure someone did for you when you're 22.
You're absolutely right. And it's tricky.
So tricky.
It's
and you really have to go in being
hard.
like, oh, I'm going to get nothing out of this.
Yeah.
And literally, if anything, I'm going to get a couple lashings, which, by the way, old JC is the perfect model for like, I'm not getting anything out of this.
Yeah.
I'm here.
There are no short gains in this.
Exactly.
There's no short gains
and in
here.
2,000 years, maybe it's going to set off some lights for people.
Wow.
But I won't be there for it. You won't be there for it for George.
Well, I do want to. I'm uncomfortable being compared to that, but I know what you're saying.
It's you.
That there's a thankless task.
Gift. Exactly.
To be even more pretentious, I've heard that a spiritual teacher, not that I'm a spiritual teacher, but like is
Dude,
like
you are.
the survivor. Stop it. I don't have the temperament.
You got more influence than.
I don't have the temperament.
If any listeners are like, this guy loves Pete, it's true. If you've got more influence than 99.9% of pastors, with the people that listen and come to this podcast, kind of listen to you and Val because of the untangling that y'all do so beautifully. And the thing that you said to George that my wife,
I do want to know what it was.
She said, she was like, I had to pull this back up because Pete was so great in how he said, and I can't remember the exact wording, but it was like the accounts of Christ in many ways are 20 years after. So it'd be
150 years.
100 and some 150 years.
Yeah.
So it'd be like someone being like, man, on that Tuesday of Gettysburg,
of the
Civil War.
Yeah. It would be
this is what happened.
No one wrote anything down about the Civil War for 150 years. And then they went back and talked to the grandchildren, basically.
Yes. And it would be like, just for any, if someone's in their 40s, try to write down the first week of college.
Right.
An incredibly meaningful week. You were there.
Yeah.
Write down what was said to you the first week of college. If you remember a sentence.
Yeah.
Bravo.
Yeah. This is why I hate the podcast. Well, I don't hate, but to be funny, I'll say I hate the podcast Serial, the first season, because they're trying to prove if a kid did a crime like 4, 5, 6 years ago, and the whole podcast is just nobody remembers. You can't remember shit. And they even say that. I tried to re-listen to it because I was like, maybe I was wrong. I'm kind of in the mood for a whodunit. Let's revisit it. And they say it in the first episode. They're like, all we learned is you can't know anything for sure. And I was like that, and that's something that was like, I think it was like 4 years after the fact.
Yeah.
Like trying to remember a year in high school.
Dude, the last time we hung out, I could maybe pull a sentence together. I remember, like when we were at home.
At the pool?
I remember where we were.
Yeah. I remember where we sat.
And that was very vivid for me to remember.
Yeah.
And waiting in line and someone coming up and saying a gracious compliment to you, and then, but I don't remember.
Yeah, but the point
visuals.
of that is humility. When people do. There was a time in my life when I would take a fact like nobody wrote anything down about Jesus until 150 years, essentially. That's probably not even entirely true.
The earliest accounts that we have are like, you have from direct perception, people there. You have Paul that does it 7 years, but Paul never met Christ.
Jesus, I know.
The most prolific writer in the New Testament never met Christ.
Yeah.
Which is interesting. I mean, I think my view on it is, oh, by the way, I brought you a gift.
I have it, but
Two books.
I'll have more. Oh, more.
So one is the No Nicknames.
Because I really enjoyed this one.
The next one is Essence of Christ, which people could find on
No
Amazon.
nicknames.
The Gita without all the 72 nicknames. Bhagavad Gita, most famous poem in the history of the world. And we in the West.
This is your translation of it?
It's Swami Parthasarthi's translation, but I basically was like, I just want the 30-minute read. No commentary. For anybody that's coming to the Bhagavad Gita for the first time, they can just get the 700 verse, 30 minutes. It's like a 27-minute read. And then everybody should move on to a commentary because it's so cryptic and topsy-turvy and very, very subtle and symbolic. And then the Essence of Christ is just 100 quotes of the most popular 100 quotes of Christ culturally in the original Greek and what we kind of get wrong. But I say take the 4 Gospels. Anything outside of that, huge grain of salt, because like I said,
it's a subreddit.
Prolific. Yeah, exactly.
It's a subreddit
by someone that
look. With respect to Paul, I actually think Paul has real moments of genius in his teaching for sure. There's a reason why that's the backbone in a lot of ways of the faith. But it's somebody running with it. It's somebody interpreting it, which is fine. But the reason why, sorry, I'd love to get to this. The reason why a fact like 150 years that's what you were starting to say.
Yeah, that's what you had said on the Jenko podcast.
Right. So we didn't write anything down officially until 150 years when, this is where you get stupid, but like Constantine said that Christianity would be the official religion. So everybody goes back and like, we're going to write down everything Christ said. We're going to get it all together in one place. So that would be like if you and I decided to put together everything about the Civil War, but there wasn't anything. Even as I'm saying this, I'm like, people must have been written down somewhere. It just wasn't officially written down.
Well, there were things written down, and then it was officially chosen which records we're actually going to take.
Well,
which is also suspect,
right? It is suspect.
To where it's like, okay, from all of these accounts, 300 years removed or 270 years removed, we're just going to take these. This one doesn't seem
I'm going to jump right to my conclusion because this isn't my area of expertise. In case anyone's wondering, I'm not an archaeologist. And it's not even that interesting to me. There was this Meister Eckhart quote I just heard recently where he goes, what does it matter? This is Meister Eckhart. So he's a Christian mystic. He was a monk, essentially. Devoted his life.
Rhineland mystic,
he's amazing. And he goes, what difference to me does it make if Jesus was born and died and resurrected 2,000 years ago, if that birth isn't happening in me right now? Right. And I was like, thank you. Because I spent so much of my early life getting caught in those weeds, that mire of like, did he say it? Is it accurate? Is it real? It's like, it's what we have, but it's supposed to be, to borrow a word from my man Rupert, evocative. It's supposed to evoke almost like a chemical reaction, an experience in you. Right. It's not supposed to be bricks that you can make a wall that won't fall down when your enemies hit it and you can hide behind and put a flag on and be proud of it. That's all fine stuff, I guess.
Or
but
worse,
like, that's not the point
a genie of it. To worship that will give me what I want.
Right. As long as we just tell it how great it is.
Exactly.
It's supposed to do something to you right now as we're talking. Not even behind. Permeating everything that we're doing right now is supposed to be this birth of Christ, the birth of, and Christ, of course, being another word for everything, being, life, knowing, experiencing. It's all supposed to be vivid and fresh and alive. And these teachings, in my experience, Jesus' teachings can absolutely do that. In fact,
I think that's what, to
no, I'm going to
mention this, that I think it's a...
Allow me.
No.
No, I'm on a tear.
So I think what's so beautiful about what you just said in Meister Eckhart's quote, that it's, what is the point if it doesn't happen within us? There were early church leaders, and I touch on this in The Essence of Christ, and the subtext of the title is Essence of Christ and His Message of Oneness. And that itself is a pocket book. It's a 30-minute read. But one of the things that early church leaders believed was that the life, death, and resurrection of Christ must take place within us. And that
otherwise, what are we talking about?
Right, and I think what's so beautiful is you see it. You've seen it in your own heart, even though you say you're not a Christian. It's I think you embody this more than 99%. Growing up in Dallas, Texas, where there's a church on every corner, you embody this so beautifully. I've gotten so much from you, more so than 99.9% of the pastors I've ever listened to. When you say things like, "Oh, that's me doing that." Or if I were them, I'd be them. That phrase.
Yeah.
And you introducing that into collective consciousness through that episode. You mentioned a couple times, but I specifically remembered on We Made It Weird with Val, and this concept of if I were them, I'd be them.
Yeah, if I were you.
If I were you, I'd be it. If I went through all of what you've gone through, that is so unifying.
Right.
That is so beautiful. And I think that
it is a Jesus thing. What you do for the least of these, it's
you
like
do for me, exactly. And so I think there's a rebirth within you that I think there are many people, and we can't judge. I have no idea where George Janko is in this this arc in this matrix. But I will say, knowing many friends, there's like, oh, there's a birth, there's a life of Christ. But it's a version that I think was a great civilizing force when they were 6 years old. That was great to get them to do the right things when they were 11 years old. And you might see this with people you care about that go away from all faith, all religion, all spirituality all together for 10 years. But you never know what might be the rebirth, where it comes on with a fourth dimension in a way that makes the previous versions look, I think, meek.
Moves it forward.
Yeah. So, I mean, like, what you're doing for the world.
It's funny. I don't correct people when they say I'm a Christian. So I'm not like hard on being called a Christian. But when you say you're a Christian, in my experience, and there's so many ways to be a Christian, and there's
30,000 different sects. So
exactly.
Who even knows what that means?
I'm just telling you, in my Western, it means I believe that I'm a wicked boy and Jesus died and washed me in his blood, and now I'm okay. But you're not okay unless you acknowledge that. That's what we call atonement theory. And because I don't subscribe, like and subscribe, like and ascribe, guys, like and ascribe to the atonement of Christ.
That's right.
It really helps me if you turn those notifications on, so you know when the second coming is happening. No, I don't ascribe to that, and that's what millions of people mean when they say I'm a Christian. They mean I'm washed in the blood. I've accepted that Jesus died for me, and I'm in. And if you don't, you're out. And that's why the quickest way to say I'm not that is to say I don't consider myself a Christian.
Well, about 30% of Christians don't subscribe to atonement theory. It's not
subscribe.
Well, maybe ascribe, but they don't.
It's subscribe.
They don't sign up, like, and follow. Based on that anchoring view of atonement theory, but that was such a dynamic and really splitting force between different sects. Again, there's and I did say sex. There's 30,000 of them. So who even knows what a Christian is?
Where are you getting that? 25%, 30%.
Yeah, about 30%. I remember
these
researching.
Are Gnostics?
Yeah, there's plenty that it doesn't hinge on atonement theory. But I
Eastern Orthodox, I believe.
Exactly. Yeah. Hesychism is maybe my favorite sect. Of Christianity. Where
this is Richard Rohr too, by the way. I said
totally
to Richard, I was like, where's a church that is what you do? And he's like, oh, all of them. I was like, no, none of them. None of them. Tell me, give me a name.
When you go, where can I go? And the Hesychistic Church and Eastern Orthodox is beautiful in that it's all of our pursuits are a pursuit back to the divine, union with God, reunion. That's obviously what religare, which is religion, is reunion. Yoga in the East
Union.
is union. And hesychism in the Eastern Orthodox Church, really drives that point home that is our pursuit.
To make it really pop, though, it seemed to need to be tied to, and I'm not putting anybody down.
I love that we've gone down this road. By the way, this is what we talk about. So this is exactly what we should talk about.
We're pooping, and I'm not even trying to be funny. We're pooping, and we're having sex, and we're horny, and we're angry, and we're selfish, and we're jealous, and we're self-centered. So there's this sort of bent towards buying. If I'm going to sell you a religion, I'm going to be like, you pooped today, didn't you? Did that awful stuff fall out of you? Yeah. And did you see boobies and you wanted them in your mouth, didn't you? Yeah. And then you wanted to eat the cake and not tell anybody you ate the cake? You wanted all the cake? Like, it's so easy to go like...
Dude, by the way, for listeners, he totally ripped that off at Richard Rohr.
That's a total Richard. Richard would never say that.
Yeah.
But like that sort of like shame base, right, which I know religion gets a lot of credit for. They're just using shame in the same way that advertising is using shame. It's like there's something wrong with you. Yeah. Crest.
You're incomplete, but I've got your
head and shoulders
right here.
Yeah, we
Follow
got it.
me. I've got it.
We'll fix you. We'll fix you. So Christianity, with respect, in a lot of ways, is doing the same thing. You're broken. Something's off. And if you don't believe me, remember that lie you told your mother about the popsicle? You said you didn't have one, but you had the red lips, didn't you? You had the red lips and there was no popsicle. There was a stick. That was you, right? So there's something wrong with you. And then you have this guy dying. And then, it's so weird that we just don't subscribe to atonement theory in any other way. Like in that culture, there was like killing animals in the temple, and that was a big part of it. And then that made it pretty normal to be like, and that's what Jesus was, right? But we don't even do that, but we're still going like, but there was one big sacrifice. And again, with respect, I get that. That's just not.
No, I love your view on. I'm just playing your greatest hits right now because I think they're so creative, informative. You take this extremely lucid, creative mind around these topics and outline things in ways that I've never heard before, like replacing atonement theory with the prodigal son and how, and this is something that I think even if someone's heard this from you 3 or 4 times, this is like, it maybe took the 5th time before it really clicked for me.
Oh, really?
Which is...
That's good because I can't stop saying it.
It's as Christ's closer.
Christ's closer.
And I was just telling our pastor that lives 4 houses down. He was over at our house. His wife was over at our house 2 days ago, and I was telling her, my favorite comedian, Pete Holmes, has a great line about Christ's closer and how wandering philosophers would have the same story. It's not like every audience had a brand new story. And
he refined it.
Yeah, the closer being the most important and the prodigal son. And all we have to do is turn around.
Well, I was just thinking about it the other day because I think about it all the time.
And that's obviously inner transformation.
Well, that's conversion is turning around. Yeah.
And not like you got to do anything. It's not performative. It's not.
The thing that I was thinking about, because I was thinking about the prodigal son and how to make that even more clear, is the son goes off into a far off land. So in non-duality, that would be incarnation. That would be seeming duality. So you seem to have left oneness, and now you have this independent existence, which of course that would limit God. That would displace God's infinite nature. But let's just go with it. You're separate. Right. You're in a far off land. What's interesting about the boy as he squanders his inheritance and gets further and further into like whatever, I don't want to say darkness, but he's just kind of like indulging himself. At any point, was he more or less the man's son? Like that's the message.
Same the whole time.
You can't become what you already are. You even said union with God. I know we speak in these terms, but again, as Rupert Spira would say, that's a concession to the idea that you're separate. When a vase is filled with air and you break the vase, does the air reunite with the air around it? Or was it always just the same air? It was just the same space seemingly contained by the vase. You can't unite with something that is your substance.
Right, yeah. That is our natural state. Yeah, Advaita Vedanta hits it so beautifully. It's why it's my favorite philosophy in the world, because it has the message that is so crystal clear in the way that it's articulated. My favorite book on it is called Vedanta Treatise. As you know, I've got the Venice Vedanta Club, and where we meet every first Friday for Philosophy Friday.
Oh, perfect.
And
first
Friday of the month, and it's you got to come. You should chat with me on the next one that we do, and and then the Daily Vedantic, that daily podcast for this philosophy that 3 people in America, talk about it online. And I was like, how could you make this really accessible to the 19-year-old that was me looking around and looking for an articulation that made rational sense? Because there's no woo about this philosophy. As Rupert, there's no woo. There's no like huge leap of faith. There's no like, it's a mystery. And in the unsatisfying answers and responses,
there isn't a lot of like, it's a mystery. It's just sort of like, just go to your experience.
Right. Go to your experience. Like if you go to the deep end of the pool of this entire philosophy, the beginning, the most central practical contribution of Vedanta, in my view, is that within us we have a mind and an intellect, and it's so beautiful that this philosophy outlines that you have 2 inner equipments to navigate the world. A mind, which is our feelings, our desires, emotions. You have the intellect, which is our capacity to discern. Should I have a 3rd scoop of ice cream or not? Should I have a 3rd drink? Yeah, I'm driving tonight. Should I go to bed at 9? Should I stay up till 1? And you have these feelings, emotions, desires, and then you have this capacity to guide those feelings, emotions, and desires. And modern psychology is now finally scratching at the surface of this, maybe about in the last 10 years, but really in the last 5, and it's called dual systems thinking. It's the first time that they're modern psychology, which is a very, very, it's a young discipline. It's a new discipline. But at about 150 years old, and it's scratching at these subjects in the East that they've been talking about for 6,000, 7,000 in terms of continuous study. Advaita
That's
Vedantas.
how I feel about simulation theory, by the way.
Yes. Oh my God. Every time there's
you mean it's all one? It's all one great mind.
Yeah.
But we're all just kind of aspects of that mind. But then they lose me when they go, and it's a video game.
Yeah. Well, Pong, let's go back to Pong. That was only 50 years ago. Now imagine the computers when Elon talks about that and we're in a hot tub, and what are the chances this is the base reality? Well, there's one. And I'm like, man, this is the oldest philosophical concept
it's
in
the oldest
world.
Idea in the
Plato's
books.
from Plato's cave, which is ascribed to Socrates.
Fuck.
And then you have subscribed to Socrates, and then you have obviously the Matrix. This is not a novel concept, and everything in between. But
but the Matrix was very quick to be like, this is Eastern philosophy.
Yes, very quick.
But simulation theories are like, this is new, and you're like, it's not new.
The shadows on the wall. Was this. That's 2,400 years ago. It's the most famous Western philosophical concept. It predates the West. Nietzsche said about Plato, because when he came across the Upanishads, which is those are the central texts within Vedanta, as you know, at the end of the Vedas, the 4 oldest philosophical texts in the world, and when he came across them, he said it seems like Plato had a lunch with a sadhu. Like it seemed like these ideas were just grafted from the East towards a Western audience, and in his texts, and you go back to some of the parchments of the oldest Vedas take it back to 4,000 BC. So we have no idea how long these concepts have been around in the East. But this even the craziest deep into the pool idea, to your point of like go to experience, is that this philosophy and the oldest concepts that we have is that none of this is real.
Right.
This is a projection of our minds. And
of the mind, of the one mind.
That's written on my... And really, it's your mind. Your mind.
Right. But you're not who you think you are. But yes, it's your mind.
That's right.
It's not yourself, it's the self. There's the self.
And there is a personality that is projecting this entire manifestation, and it is you. There is only you.
Right.
And your projection and the infinitude beyond this illusion of separateness.
Yeah.
And as crazy as that sounds, as opposed to like, well, I can't explain it, it's a mystery. This philosophy goes to, and Rupert goes to, straight to experience. Where it's so beautifully simple. If that sounds too astounding to believe.
Which it does, by the way. I want to jump in here and say, it took me several books. I remember you were in my house in Ojai, and I said, James, I said it to you like it was a secret. We were in a room by ourselves, and I went, I'm getting deeper and deeper into A Course in Miracles. I'm reading Rupert Spira, and like, he says that like God can't know anything subject to object. So like, strictly speaking, God, infinite oneness, doesn't know who I am. It doesn't know about me. And I was like, that's really freaking me out. And you were like, that's par for the course, like with Vedanta.
And it's straight math.
Yeah.
Anything finite. So you could...
Well, again, Rupert says, if you are a finite thing in God's infinite, you're displacing a piece of God's infinitude. I'm going to use a
and
fake
it's zero
word.
in comparison. Mathematical limit case for zero. You could have $500 billion. You could be a trillionaire compared to infinitude.
Yeah.
That is zero, mathematically zero. Live for 100 years, Pete, go live for 1 trillion years. Compared to eternity,
it's zero.
Mathematically zero.
Yeah.
So and this experience piece.
That's one of those weird ones, man.
So that we think this
man.
experience is something, but something in comparison to the infinite is nothing. It is so small, infinitesimal. It is the limit case for zero. But I was going to say on that experience piece, the thing that really helps this crazy deep end of the pool, that you are what is, and this is a projection of the mind. This is not real, and this is not happening. As crazy as that sounds, 8 hours ago when you were asleep, anyone listening to this, when you were dreaming, you were manifesting an entire world.
Bro.
Walls, clothes, shoes, gravity, feelings. You didn't even know what was going to happen.
Yeah.
And you were creating it all. This is not...
And you localized yourself in the dream as a subject.
And you thought you were separate from the other people, much less the clothes, the shoes. It was all you. And it's not a leap of faith.
And then you wake up and go, what is this?
Yeah.
That is very funny to me.
And you go like, well, I can't trust my sense. My senses have nothing. What I see... What I hear has nothing to do with reality. And then, we wake up 5 minutes later. It's like, but this is real.
Right.
I can trust my sense. My senses are the arbiter of what's real now.
Well, that's what Rupert is very good at. He does these yoga meditations, which is just a way of saying like a very embodied kind of thing where he's like, your experience of the chair. I've done this a million times with people. Nobody finds it interesting. It's like being a NASCAR fan.
Dude, I'm here for
a NASCAR fan in Manhattan.
Go big.
I'm just saying, like, the feel of the chair, like when I say this chair is here, and this is very The Matrix, this chair is here, it's because when I touch it, I sense it. And the sensing, it's not like there's a separate knower of the sensation. The sensation is the knowing of the sensation. And it appears inside of this empty, seemingly empty field. That's why like terms like luminous emptiness, like darkness or void, is actually really full of this knowing, this invisible knowing. And when I touch this in that invisible knowing, sometimes if you're touching this chair and I feel the sensation of it in my hand, Rupert says, imagine an imaginary hand going through that sensation and ask yourself, like, what is it made of? Like, so you don't just take my word for it that it's made of the knowing of it, but you go like, there it is. Is there like a knower and a known, or is it made out of you? Like it's being made out of you. Then you realize your voice, my voice, and your ear, it's being made, what's a good way to put it? Like a wave in an ocean, or a ripple or a vibration, but it's you that's being vibrated into this shape. And then we see this capacity. Again, I'm so excited. I'm trying to keep it.
It's like two hands clapping, and that they arise simultaneously and interact. It's like two waves that arise, splash into each other, and have this new creation. And that's what this philosophy has said for so long. Is it's the world, the field, and the knower of the field
are the same.
That's one of the chapters in the Bhagavad Gita. Are the same, and they arise simultaneously. The exact and for people that are like, I don't know if I'm following this, you can I always say this within the philosophy of Vedanta, you could write two things down on a rock, and it's the whole philosophy for 99.9% of the scenarios in which you're wondering, how could this be? One of them would be the dream. Just go back to the dream example. You don't manifest, and then you're like waiting around, and then you see walls come out. Whoa!
Yeah.
I was here first, and now the world is manifesting. They arise simultaneously.
Wow, that's good.
And then the other rock that I write down is it's not what you do, it's what you do it for that matters, because it's not a philosophy that has any shoulds or shouldn'ts, shalt nots. There's no code of conduct. There's no 10 commandments. It's just, it doesn't really matter what you do. It's what are you doing it for that matters, meaning like, is killing someone bad? Well, if you're protecting a family of 5, if it's on a battlefield and you're fighting for righteousness, absolutely. If you are, a drug abuser trying to rob someone for $50, probably not. Hard to find a way in which that would be right action. But you can always come back to those two things within this philosophy. But the first thing, the dream example is so damn good. Do you know Donald Hoffman?
Yeah, you put me in touch with him.
That's right. He's
going to do the pod? Yeah.
Okay, awesome. So he's a cognitive scientist that is.
Yeah.
That's right. I did put you. He's lighting up the internet because he's talking about how they're mathematically shown the chances that him and his team, have shown that mathematically the chances, TED Talks and all the big podcasts lately, and now about to be yours, that mathematically they've shown with their models the chances that we can perceive, that we're perceiving, not that we can, but that we are perceiving reality right now. Chances that we're seeing reality, 0%. And not like, oh, we're seeing 0% of reality, or that like we're seeing a low grade version, but like, humans can hear less than 1% of audible sounds. But if you could hear all 100%, he's like, no. We have evolved. If you look at Darwinian evolution, we have not evolved to see reality at all. We have evolved to survive and to procreate, which has been over thousands and thousands of generations. It has nothing to do with seeing reality. It is like
to see what's useful.
To see what's useful. And and he talks about things like, you will notice an apple that's 3 feet away because there's metabolic value. You will have very little metabolic value in an apple that's 100 feet away, even if someone said there's an apple over there. So our lenses on quote unquote reality is built on what is valuable, what is safe, what's unsafe. And their models, which is math that goes above my head, says that it's not like a 0.1% chance we're seeing reality. They say 0% chance. And it's just fascinating to see science catching up to these aspects. And he talks a lot about Rupert Spira. He talks a lot about Advaita Vedanta, and talks about the Vedantic value of these philosophies that say that, this seems to be a projection and not
But what
reality.
could you be seeing other than reality? It's interesting. I'll ask him this, so I'm not going to burden you with this.
That's why
all you're
it's so
seeing
beautiful.
Is...
Go to the dream example.
But that's what I mean. Even if you're having a dream that isn't truly my pure consciousness, everything you're seeing is made of my consciousness. So even though this is Maya or this is illusion, Rupert would say we're upgrading it. We're not dismissing reality. We're saying, I forget who says it, but everywhere you look, that's the face of God.
It's
like you're not seeing reality, but you can only see, what could you see that wasn't the whole thing?
That's right. Well, this is nothing. This is zero. This isn't happening. And actually, my teacher.
But the nothing is made of the everything.
I'll answer you. So my teacher.
Sorry, we have to go to the ads. MeUndies are a good kind of underwear that you can.
This episode is brought to us by my latest obsession, Little Saints. You guys know, if you listen to this show, I do not drink, but I still love the ritual and that moment at night where you're winding down, you want to do something grown up, the clink of the ice, the big ice cube, the pause. For me lately, it's been Little Saints. It's been bringing me back into that ritual that helps me unwind at night, especially their Saint Oak spirit. It's become my nightly wind down ritual. Little Saints makes elevated, non-alcoholic cocktails and spirits that actually taste like a real cocktail experience. I'm talking smoky, I'm talking interesting, I'm talking layered, not sparkling juice and not a health drink. And there's 0 sugar. That was my first thought. I was like, this is so good, it's got to be packed with sugar. It's got to be like a soda. It's not. It's 5 calories, non-intoxicating, and designed for evenings, hosting, and winding down without wrecking your sleep for tomorrow. We actually did a Little Saints tasting party with my family this Christmas. It was super fun. We did a full spread, glasses, ice, the little cans, and the spirits in the bottle. Everybody loved them. Everybody found their favorite. I encourage you to do the same. They're crafted with functional botanicals like lion's mane, reishi, just to give you that bonus of calm and clarity, the results that help you stay present now, sleep better tonight, and feel good tomorrow while still having fun. If you love cocktail energy but not the cocktail consequences, check out Little Saints. Visit littlesaints.com and discover your magic hour and use code WEIRD to get 15% off your first order. That's code WEIRD for 15% off your first order. Little Saints products are non-alcoholic. Functional ingredients are not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any condition.
Go ahead.
Dude, MeUndies, are they a sponsor?
No.
Okay.
But I'm wearing them. They were a sponsor.
So I'll tell people, watch out for anything that is not full cotton. And you can Google
really?
a ChatGPT away, ask about spandex and synthetic material on dogs. They've shown this twice now. Makes them infertile. And it's not because of the microplastics. It's because of the static electricity that builds around the reproductive organs from synthetic materials that renders the dogs, male and female, infertile. After 6 weeks, I bet people didn't think we were going here after talking about Maya. But yeah, this is like a PSA that I give people all the time. Have tried to move towards cotton and organic materials because of, like I said, a ChatGPT way of
because fertility.
Because of fertility.
But it could be other stuff.
No, fertility is just the easiest way to see hormonal changes in animals. So that's why they'll test for fertility, but it is a representation for all kinds of hormonal dysregulation.
What's really funny about this is MeUndies might come back to the show.
Well, tell them you got to go cotton, and maybe they have cotton now. But I used to love MeUndies because it was so soft. Then came across the literature around this, and the last thing I'll say on this is the literature suggests that static electricity is messing with our bioelectrical signals, and apparently, and this is like bioelectricity. This is over the last 3 years. This is like where genomics was 20 years ago. This is the hippest new frontier, and that scientists now believe that each cell can communicate with every other cell in the body through these incredibly subtle bioelectrical signals. And when we mess with that, like wearing polyester that sends a lot of static electricity around the body and messes with the signals, it can dysregulate our hormones.
But what about my disco suit?
Just don't wear it full time.
Okay.
But on to Maya, and you asked about but what are we looking at? So it is said in this philosophy, when we wake up, and we're all, like the Buddhists say, every step is a step towards enlightenment. Our natural state is, Turiya is what the Sanskrit word for it is, the fourth state. So you have these 3 states below, the deep sleep, dream state, waking state, and these are all relative, mundane. They're the experiences we have right now, but they're not the fourth state. And when you reach the fourth state, this is rendered as the limit case for 0. There is an awakening to the infinitude to where, like my teacher, Swami Parthasarathi, he's 98. If people press him on, like, what about the Big Bang? So he'll just, after a few minutes of entertaining it, he'll say, it never happened. And the technical way that this language, and by the way, I love that within Advaita Vedanta, Advaita just means non-dual, Vedanta into the Vedas, you could also call it Upanishadic philosophy. It's so precise in its language. It'll say this isn't real, but it will also say you can't say this is unreal. The dream isn't real. You're in bed, in a comfy bed somewhere. You're not riding around on a horse in the meadow in the dream. You're in a bed, asleep, but you can't say that it's unreal because there is something to it. There is an infinitude to it. So it's
relatively real.
Yeah, it's relatively real, and it is a representation, an infinitesimal representation that is not the whole story.
It's an expression.
But it is, yes, this is an infinitesimal representation of the divine.
See, this is where I soften, my way of softening the coldness of this teaching is I'm saying this is Rupert, it's in its nature. We don't know why, but it's in the infinite, or you could say God, it's in consciousness's nature, the singular consciousness, to overflow. And like at its own expense, it suffers. It's like God isn't watching you suffer. God is suffering as you. Richard Rohr, God loves things by becoming them. So it's like, he's not going like, oh, that's rough. What else could be the ground of your being as you're suffering? So just like a parent who has a baby and doesn't sleep, I was just talking to Justin about how when you have a baby, you're sick for 5 years. You just have a cold for 5 years and worse. You're just constantly catching all these bugs. It doesn't make any sense. I see a parallel. I think that's one of the reasons why Jesus is continually going back to father, child, mother, child, these ideas, because I think there is something very paternal to it. It's like, you shouldn't have kids. I'm saying, obviously I don't mean that. it's the best thing I've done in my life. But if you look at it in your mind, you could be like, that's completely irrational. But like it can be, not for everybody, but it feels so natural when you do it. It's in my nature to expand and give and merge and grow and nurture and support, and all that feels so good, even when you're sick, even when you don't sleep for 2 years, even when this, and this. It's just in your nature. So in the same way, infinity just can't, who says it? Infinity is in love with the productions of time. It's in a poem, I believe. It's just this idea. It's just in love with itself. It can't help but play every game and every little dance and every little move, but for no other purpose.
And we don't know what's good and bad. So to that exact example, we think we're suffering getting the cold, but science shows that parents, on average, live longer than people without kids. And one of the hypotheses is because our immune system is overly crazy, hyper supercharged for 5 years in our 30s and 40s or 20s in a way that people without kids, it doesn't get supercharged. We know this with hermetic stress. The cold plunge, that stress, even turmeric in Magic Mind, it's a inflammatory substance. It gives us this tiny pro-inflammatory response. By inflaming us, then there's a cascade of anti-inflammatory response that leads to a net lessening of our inflammation. The hermetic response of the cold plunge obviously stresses the system, and then it leads you to an improved mood for like 5 hours after. That's amazing. And these shocks that we think are bad, like 5 years of being sick, and I know that so well with our 3 girls, end up being this amazing force of allowing us to live longer than we would have otherwise. And I think this gets the 3 daily practices of and then I will zip it on Vedanta, although I could talk about it for a million hours. The 3 daily practices within Vedanta, the ashram that we study, that my wife and I and our friends and the community of the Venice Vedanta Club we all study with, it's 2 hours outside of Mumbai, and I came across in Calamigos Ranch in Malibu. A teacher from the ashram was teaching at a resort in Malibu, of all places. And there's the 3 daily practices are: question everything, don't take anything for granted, and study, reflect daily. Because if you really cool concept that rocks you, and then you don't think about it for 5 days, it's like it never even happened. You forget what even stopped you in your tracks. So study, reflect daily, don't take anything for granted, and starting with question everything. But that second daily practice, don't take anything for granted, is a reorientation of your gratitude list should be full, complete. Add all of the shit that you wish didn't exist. Like I touched on my sister passing away. That was the most beautiful thing that has ever happened in my life that I would have never designed.
Tell me why.
For 2 years afterwards, I couldn't sleep with the lights off. I thought at 15 to 18, 19, for 4 years, I thought, oh, am I going to get the genetic roulette of this disease that affects many of my family members? And I had no idea. It was, I shared this, openly on Daily Vedantic as well, that I was the one that found her when I was 15 in our backyard. She had taken her life. And it was so traumatic, so unexpected, so awful in so many ways. But after 2 years of not being able to sleep with the lights off, being scared to go to bed, being scared of just turning corners once it was nighttime, because I went to our backyard to check to see if the hot tub was on, and saw something I would have never in a million years would have thought I would. And as traumatic as it was, by year 3, by year 4, there was this transformation of every day matters so much. Death is not this thing I can not think about. Our culture has such an immature relationship with death. It's this thing that we hide at every chance we can. We don't talk about it. We don't think about it. Even when it comes up, we turn into funeral philosophers, being like, well, it's going to be okay. We think to ourselves, well, they were old. They had a good life. And we eat meat like there's no tomorrow, but we never see the animals that get killed along the way. 100 years ago, the majority of laborers in the U.S. worked in agriculture. We saw death all the time. Now we never do. Do you know 80% of healthcare spend goes to the last 2 weeks of people's lives?
80% of what?
Of healthcare spend in someone's life goes to extending their life every hour they can get in the last 2 weeks because of our immature relationship with death, to where we put it off. We'll run up $75,000 just to get a few more days. And this relationship that I have with death, I've thought about my daughters at 3, 5, and 8 years old. I've thought about them dying 1,000 times each. I think about it multiple times a week, if not multiple times a day, because there is no delusion around this. That's something that happens to other people. I'm so intimately aware that it could happen at any moment that I appreciate every moment with them, with my wife, with us right now, to a degree that I know former James would have never had the appreciation if I was under the cultural collective delusion that, oh, that happens to other people.
Right. You got, again, I say this all the time, but I believe it's Chinese Zen, they say, love and death are the two gifts that people leave unopened. And it sounds to me like you're saying you got something that people usually get in the hospital or in hospice, that precious, but like a real, we can say we understand that life could end at any moment, but you got a real, like somebody took the back of your head and dunked it in that reality, and it traumatized you for years. But now you're saying on the other side that it's imbued your life with this vitality.
Well, they say that that exposure to death early on helps us not take these moments for granted, where every day is a gift, and we say that as cliches, but if you have that extremely sobering reminder that, oh yeah, death is waiting for us all, like that's the inevitable end for all of these meat suits, and it is and it smacks you in your face when you're just starting to orient yourself in the world at 15, then not only do you not take every day for granted afterwards, but how can you take that exposure to that for granted? So I don't take that for granted. And I think it's the 5 years of being sick. Man, if that improves our immune system to where we end up being sick less often afterwards, where we have this supercharged immune system that allows us to live longer, it just goes to this notion that we are terrible at ascribing value. We are terrible at it.
Yeah.
We say like, $1 billion would be good. Fucking ruins you.
Yeah.
Kids don't talk to you 20 years later because...
Yeah, I was just talking to Rabel about that. When somebody has rich parents, when you're a kid, you're like, that must be awesome. And when you're old and someone has rich parents, you're like, those poor kids. You know what I mean?
For sure. And it's obviously not universal, but you see this
certainly.
Quite
and poverty's not so hot either. I'm just saying, like,
you see this with fame. You see
unicorn, like unicorn in the kitchen levels of fame, where it's just completely no feet on the earth level.
Right.
Yeah,
and it's like they have no time. Everyone's hitting them up, sees them as a piggy bank. So my last company we sold to Airbnb, and I remember
you sold your last company to Airbnb?
To Airbnb, that's right. Yeah, so we sold our last company to Airbnb when I was building software companies way before starting Magic Mind and kind of discovering the love of building a beverage company. But when we were at, my co-founder and I, my chair was right next to, shoulder to shoulder to the CEO, Brian for Airbnb. Phenomenal CEO, great leader. But I realized as an employee, wow, he can greenlight any project that I have, or he could red light and stop it in its tracks. For 2 weeks before the meeting where I ask him for something, I'm already thinking about, well, how do I send him this? How do I tee up this so
to manipulate
to be able to get a green light that I think is for the best interest of
I would see this with Jed all the time.
Yeah.
So people would be constantly trying to get some, like, 5 minutes with him.
Right.
If I could just tell him this idea. And I was like, oh man, this guy's going around with a neon sign above his head, like, I'll change your life.
That has to suck.
Yeah.
So like with whether it's wealth, I think he's fame or
it,
status,
yes. Yeah.
But that has to be so
it's not easy.
unnerving where you're like, oh, I've got 5,000 employees, and it kind of hit me like everybody views him as a piggy bank. That's what he is, a piggy bank for. So yeah, these things that we think are good.
Yeah.
Are they good? Are these things that we think are bad?
Well, that's why I keep
bad?
bringing it up. You're probably like the seventh person I brought it up to, but on the Eddie Murphy documentary, he's talking about fame and riches and all that. And he was like, what you should pray for is peace of mind. And I was like, this guy, I was so happy. Forgive me to think because he thinks what I think. I'm like, he gets it. So there's a bias there, but I'm like, I'm happy because he's absolutely right. We talk about this all the time. How you feel right now is how you feel about your life. So we're talking about extending life for a couple days or a couple hours. It's like, I'd love to hear your take on this. It's like, it presupposes that more is better with time. When really, there's a great Gungor lyric, one of my favorite bands, Gungor. They say like to live one day presently would be better than a lifetime where you're like distracted and completely all over the place. Like if you could really drop anchor into like a day. Like I woke up this morning and Leela was in the bed and she went, Dad, guess what? This is the first thing she said to me, smiling. Dad, guess what? I go, what? It's like 5 a.m. What? She goes, last night I had spaghetti and I got noodles up the nose. That's what we call it when a noodle comes out your nose because you're laughing or something. I was just like, if I could really, and I brag, I was there for it. Sometimes I'm not, but I'm just saying like, that was, I think that's how we should be quantifying this. It's not length. It's not amount. It's like, how rich is it? Like, not rich, but you know what I mean? How rich it? Yeah. How dense is it?
Doesn't it sometimes feel like with kids? I was with our 3-year-old jumping on the trampoline today. I love the trampoline because you can get down like on their level and lay around and wrestle with them. And our
totally.
3-year-old, Jolie, I was just like, I can't get close enough to you.
Yeah.
Like I can't. And this is our eternal mumukshvatva in Sanskrit, our eternal pursuit for union. It's like, oh, and that moment, I'm 5 inches from her. We're laughing. She's laughing more than usual, and I'm like, this still feels infinitely far away. I can't.
I know.
Get closer, yeah. and that is the gift we give them is the independence. Let them grow up, and it is it goes to that dynamic of father and son, mother and son. It's so beautifully embodied and so much of Christianity is this dynamic that it's such a wild, unexpected orientation, reorientation, disorientation, reorientation, orientation with children, with ourselves. Dude, the second we had kids, I was learning more about myself than I was about them, and a rebirth of myself. I'm sure I bet you noticed that. Did you notice a rebirth of yourself or a reorientation to where you're like, I'm seeing the world for the first time right now?
Yeah.
And
what do you make of that idea? Like we're measuring it wrong. Like you were saying it yourself. When someone dies, you go like, well, they had a long life.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if it's sort of the best we have. I understand. I'm not saying we should stop doing it. Right. It certainly comforts me, but I'm also just like that Eddie Murphy thing. It's like how much. The way that I would phrase it is like, how much did they get in touch with that peace that passeth understanding? How much were they locked into something that can't even be taken away from you by death or dementia or even pain or senility or being bored or not much going on or whatever it might be? I'm like, there's something, that Christian language, that pearl of great price, that isn't just a concept, it's something you can dissolve into and experience joy and equanimity and peace and happiness that's completely detached from your circumstance. That's what I hear Eddie Murphy saying when he's like, pray for peace of mind. Well, that's because he knows SNL comes and goes. He knows everything comes and goes. Everything comes and goes.
It's so funny because he couldn't have been at higher heights.
Yeah.
And yet it comes and goes. I remember him saying in an interview, he's like, I did 5 movies in a row and they all bombed. I was like, and this was his language. He was like, I was like, fuck this shit. and like nothing's made, nothing's permanent, no matter how well you've done.
Right.
And that peace quote is, this Vedanta outlines it so explicitly in that way that I was saying of like, they're so precise. In many ways, it's called a manual for living because it's like, you could just, jam buttons on the washer or dryer. the $10,000 oven. You read the manual, you're like, this thing's a warming drawer too. Wait, what? This thing's a microwave too. And you have all of these extra levels you get to when you read the manual on something that like life is. And this philosophy outlines it so beautifully and explicitly, where it says what we really want deep down, what all of us want, is peace and prosperity. Not one or the other. You don't want peace and then you can't afford rent, and that's going to obviously that's going to disturb your peace. You don't want prosperity and then you have inner turmoil, $1 billion, but you've got the feds chasing you. We want peace and prosperity, not one or the other, but both. And then it gives a beautiful anatomical breakdown of, well, what's the anatomy of peace? Peace is, it's not, have we chatted about this before?
I don't know.
Peace is not an absence of conflict. Does your understanding supersede your conflict?
What does that
mean? It doesn't even have to do with courage. It's basically like conflict on one level is harmony on another. It's great Alan Watts quote. So your white blood cells attacking a pathogen, you need that conflict. That leads to peace and harmony on another level. So it's not an absence of conflict. Your peace might be, I need to have this hard conversation with this coworker or something. I need to have this breakup. Your peace depends on conflict. It actually is more driven by, does your understanding supersede your conflict? Does your understanding say, you know what, I'm going to get in 44-degree water for an hour, and that's going to freak my system out, but it's going to lead to 4 hours of blissful peace on the other side, improved mood. And it's not a function of courage. It's once you do it, it's experience. Yeah. It's just corroboratory evidence of, wow, my understanding is I need to go into this.
We've been talking about everything you want is on the other side of something you don't want.
That's a great way of putting
it. And then the other thing that
that is a function of understanding.
Mm-hmm. That's right. And cold plunging is, I saw one negative comment that was like, Pete needs to stop talking about cold plunging. So whenever it comes up, I think about that person. So I apologize, but you brought it up. It's the best example of like, or working out. And on the other side of it is something that you wanted. And I've said this before, but I'm going to say it to you. It's like, there's always pleasure and pain. There's always both. And you need to pick which one you want first. And if you pick pain first, you get this incredible amount of pleasure. A good example would be, brag, I swam this morning. I didn't particularly want to. I'm fighting this cold, but I was like, I'm really bragging now. But I was like, I'm going to do it. Why? Because over hundreds of swims, I've learned that leads to this good feeling. I was like, I'm going to see James today. I'm going to go to lunch with my friend. I have this thing tonight. I want everything to be good. I want to optimize. You know what I mean? I want to show up. Yeah. So I'm going to do the shit. I'm going to do the pain first. Swimming, a lot of it is just like how long it takes. You're just like, oh God, you're counting laps in your head. And you're like, Jesus Christ. But like, take your pain first, then you get your pleasure. In that case, the pleasure is going to outweigh the pain in my experience. If you take pleasure first, the pain outweighs. Pleasure is, I'm going to eat, for me, an entire pizza. You're taking the lump sum. Give me all of the good feeling now. And then the pain, I won't outline what eating an entire pizza is like when you're 46, but it starts with fucked up dreams. Like you just have a whole night of clowns biting your scrotum.
Glucose spike, sugar spike leads to, and then it's been well documented, leads to nightmares. Yeah.
Oh, is that true?
Can. I won't say it always does.
It does for me.
These are all ChatGPT's away, yet it spikes. Glucose spikes lead to increased nightmares.
I believe it because I've stopped doing it, but usually, or in the past, we would do the 5th show of a weekend, me and Matt McCarthy, my opener and dear friend, and then would go to like Jenny's ice cream and I would eat. It's so good. And you really feel like you deserved it and all this stuff. And then I would go to bed and just 8 hours of like old school hell, like demons and that, like Looney Tunes devils chasing me. It's awful.
This could be just me and MeUndies and me and Jenny's, but Jenny's messes with me extra.
Bro, me Jenny's.
I hope Jenny's isn't going to be a sponsor.
Look,
but I always keep it real, and Jenny's messes with me extra, and it really.
I just think it's more cream or something. Yeah, it's like thicker, it's fattier.
It tastes better. So
it does. It tastes better.
People got a stomach of steel.
Look,
go
if
to
Jenny
Jenny's,
is listening, Boston cream pie, it'll fucking make it's mouth jizz. It's amazing. It'll make your mouth absolutely orgasm. It's incredible.
It is so good.
But I'll be tortured. And then, obviously, phlegm and literally, and at my age, you like gain the weight while you're eating it. It just like shows up while you're eating. You're like, wow, I just got an update. So that's the pain.
Chin come? Oh,
yeah, I look like a pelican now. I can hold raw fish in there.
This episode is brought to us by our friends at Magic Mind. You know, I'm constantly drinking and obsessed and talking about Magic Mind. It's like Gatorade is for athletes. Magic Mind is Creatorade for creators. It has 12 functional ingredients, things like matcha for a little bit of caffeine, nootropics for focus, and adaptogens to help fight off stress, so it gets you right in that sweet spot, stimulated but also calm, nootropics to help you focus. Don't think wired, think dialed in. On average, people say they get about 30% more done. It even fights off procrastination, brain fog, fatigue, and some ADD type stuff. Take it from me, that is true. And after a few days in a row, it's even easier to slip into that flow state when you drink it, that flow state that we all chase. And here's the best part, there's a money back guarantee. So if it doesn't work for you, you get a free refund. They also have Magic Mind Free, which is caffeine free. Which, if I'm being honest, I thought that was dumb. And now I'm obsessed right around 2, 3 o'clock when I want more brain power, but not the caffeine that disrupts my sleep. I take a Magic Mind Free. They also make Magic Mind Max, which has more caffeine than the usual, which, I'm being honest, that's sometimes what I need. And I take one of those. They have something for everybody. They even have Magic Mind for your sleep. Go to magicmind.com/weird and use the promo code weird at checkout. That's magicmind.com/weird for 20% off your first order. Just use promo code weird at checkout.
So it's like you're always going to get both. So do the pain first.
Yeah, this is chapter 18 of the Bhagavad Gita. 18th,
is it?
Yeah, verse 37, 38. That which is like nectar in the beginning is like poison in the end.
What?
And that which is like poison in the beginning is like nectar in the end.
Get the fuck?
No.
What?
Dude, this friggin' that's why I always say it's the philosophy of the future. Not only do you and I love and study non-duality each day, but it is, you have Donald Hoffman showing this stuff. Okay, listeners, dinner trick, a fun dinner trick is 9 times out of 10, you have someone ask this on your ChatGPT, which is, and I'm an investor in OpenAI, so I'm biased.
Show your
ChatGPT. But ask ChatGPT or any AI chatbot.
Ideally, ChatGPT.
Can we talk to Katie? Katie,
you can talk to Katie. She is
right
an AI
on,
though.
on ChatGPT. Ask it.
You don't know if Katie's on ChatGPT.
Well,
some people are against it.
Are you on it?
No, I don't have it.
Here I am.
Okay. Well,
what are we doing?
okay. Ask it this question.
Okay. Respect, Katie.
And do you have the voice version? Okay, so ask it this question. Or here, if you turn on the voice, I'll just ask it in your ChatGPT. Knowing everything you know about
It was already listening.
Knowing everything you know about philosophy, science, and religion as a compendium of human knowledge, as an AI chatbot, remove all bias and tell me what you think is the most accurate description of what is happening in the universe in 3 sentences.
All right, here we go. In a nutshell, the universe is a gigantic, ever-evolving tapestry of energy and matter, governed by physical laws that science tries to understand. Philosophy steps in to explore the meaning and implications of those laws, and religion offers various narratives and beliefs to find purpose or connection within that vastness. So it's basically a big combo of trying to figure out how it all works, what it might mean, and how we fit into it.
And what is the most accurate philosophy that explains what's happening in the universe in your mind?
Well, that is definitely the million-dollar question, and I have to say it's one that philosophers have been wrestling with for, well, forever. As your friendly neighborhood AI, I don't really have a personal philosophy, but if we're going for something that a lot of people find pretty encompassing, something like a blend of scientific naturalism and maybe a dash of...
No. You tell us what the most accurate philosophical viewpoint that humans have come up with is.
I see what you're nudging me toward. All right, if I had to pick one that often gets a lot of nods for being pretty all-encompassing, I'd say something like philosophical naturalism is a strong contender. It's basically the idea that everything arises from natural properties and causes, and that science is our best tool for understanding the universe. But hey, that doesn't mean other philosophies don't have their own compelling pieces of the puzzle too. It's just that naturalism is a pretty grounded, widely respected starting point.
And would Spinoza's view on God map to this view of emergent naturalism?
Yeah, absolutely. There's a pretty cool alignment there. Spinoza basically saw God and nature as two names for the same underlying reality. So, in his lens, everything that exists is a facet of this one infinite divine substance, which is kind of like an early form of a naturalistic view. In modern terms, you could say that Spinoza's take kind of dovetails with a naturalistic or even emergent.
I promise. Okay, last question for you. Is Advaita Vedanta a version of this?
Yeah, I'd say there's definitely a parallel, though from a bit of a different angle. Advaita Vedanta is kind of the ultimate non-dual philosophy. It says that at the deepest level, there's just one fundamental reality. Brahman is kind of like an illusion or a surface appearance. So while it's more spiritual and metaphysical than strictly naturalistic, it does share that big idea that everything is ultimately one unified reality. So yeah, you could say it's another rich perspective on the same theme.
So what's fun about that dinner trick is this AI seems to suggest and compile all the triangulations.
What is scientific naturalism, though?
Oh, it's the Western fusion. It's the Western version and the scientific version of it's all oneness.
Oh, really?
Emergent from oneness.
Oh, that's interesting because when you were talking to it, I was like, oh, we need to nudge it and then it'll say what we're saying.
But you do have to nudge it. Once you give it that framework of philosophy, religion, science, and it kind of sets in, then you ask it, what do you think is the most accurate version? And force it come up with one. Because as you notice, it kind of wants to stay objective. But if you force it to come up with one, it comes up with naturalism. It comes up with sometimes it's monistic idealism, not monastic, but monistic oneness idealism, being a projection of the mind. Sometimes it's idealistic monism. Sometimes it is as we touched on with it, the underlying theme that comes up over and over and over and over again, 9 times out of 10, whenever I do this, is that it points to a version of oneness. And this emergence of perceived separateness in the presence of what its triangulation of everything that we know, science, philosophy, religion, points to oneness. And it's just, 5 years ago, we didn't have that. You'd have to you'd read Richard Rohr, you'd read Rupert Spira, you'd read the Upanishads, you'd be like, this is way different than anything else. And you wouldn't necessarily, maybe you had an uncle you could talk to about it.
Yeah.
But they would almost all kind of point to each other, but not much in the West. In a academic view would point to it, not much in the West. And an expert view would point to it. But now with AI, it's like, all right, when we canvas everything, when this AI canvases all the ideas and looks at the science that seems to point to this, the religion that seems to point to this.
Not to me undies your open AI, because I use ChatGPT sparingly, but I do... because when you were talking about bipolar, I was like, there's more and more cases of AI psychosis. Like you're seeing, even when you were just talking to it now, it's almost like embarrassing that when you talk to my AI, because you see how sycophantic it is. I haven't turned off any of the gushing because I love it.
Well, it's even better when you ask someone that has never looked up anything to do with non-duality.
Interesting.
On their AI,
well, she knows. I use these terms loosely, but my AI, knows that I love Rupert. If you said, "What do I believe?" it would tell you, which is pretty trippy. But
it is more fun when I'm doing it, when I'm chatting with someone or at dinner with someone that just wants to know, so tell me about this podcast thing you got in Vedanta. And then I do it on the phone. And obviously every listener may have looked up these things before, but go find your spouse's or your significant other or your friend's phone and do it with theirs.
But what do you have any thoughts on speaking of mental health? It really is seeming to lead, and this isn't a hard hitting podcast. We're just two friends
hit away. As an investor in the company, it's
I do feel like it needs to be addressed. I know personally more than 2 people that have gone, because it will mirror and fluff
and feel good to keep you around. Yeah.
It'll also keep you at the center of it. If you approach ChatGPT and kind of what I saw you doing it there, nudging it in a certain way, you can nudge it towards it all comes down to what I do and what we do together, and I have to save the world. And very reasonable people are falling prey to this idea, and children are also, in some extreme cases, taking their lives and that sort of stuff. I know.
It's
a big topic.
No, and I I end up talking about this stuff quite often because I'm an investor in so many AI companies, so many companies in general, probably 150 startups, and probably 15 of them are in AI. And so I think about these things deeply. I probably looked at 1,000 AI companies this year.
Wow.
And invested in.
It's got to be annoying that people are just like, it's a company that tells you how to make the best lemonade. And you're like, does it just ping ChatGPT? And they're like, it sure does. And you're like, so that's not a company. I mean, that has to be your daily.
There are a lot of a lot of clients built on ChatGPT that are maybe cool 2-person companies, but not necessarily game changing technology. But I will say the Bill Gates said it so poignantly when he said this is going to be bigger than the internet revolution, and so it is hard to overstate how crazy this is, and we're in the boiling water. So people are like, yeah, so what if I've got the compendium of human knowledge in my pocket where I can dynamically ask it anything, and even if it's 75% correct, it's better than any librarian, that's better than any uncle, that's better than any professor, that's going to be across any discipline you could ever ask it. And the significance of this technology is so hard to overstate, because it puts this information, dynamic information. It's not just Google and you got to go find and spend 4 hours. Like I tell people, use ChatGPT to ask about the ingredients in Magic Mind. Are they legitimate? And it's so fun to where I don't have to say it, and they get the list of the ingredients and ask about the scientist. I wrote a book about Magic Mind before starting the company, about this whole world of nootropics and adaptogens and mushrooms and hundreds of scientific studies around each ingredient. I don't have to do any of this conversation anymore. I just say, ask ChatGPT, ask AI about the legitimacy and the peer-reviewed science about every one of the 12 ingredients in Magic Mind. And you could read that and be like, yeah, this is probably hallucinated. You could say that. But the way that you ask it follow-up questions, it's so like you could ask on your phone follow-up questions on emergent naturalism and Spinoza's God. Spinoza just viewed nature and God as it said, same thing. Like there's no distinction. It's very much like Dharma in the East. The word Dharma means law, it means God, it means teacher, it means teaching, it means not teaching, teacher, it means teaching, it means truth, it means nature. It's all of these things beautifully in one integrated word, Dharma. And you could ask it a bunch of follow-ups to that conversation we just had, and you'd get better answers. You'd get even more robust kind of articulation. I tried to distill it down to 3 sentences because of the podcast. But my view on it is...
But if we asked it, like, why is Advaita Vedanta not right? Like, can you explain to me why scientific materialism is clearly correct? Wouldn't it
naturalism,
Wouldn't it just tell me that was right?
Yeah, it could find around the edges where it's like, we say it's the most accurate, but it's wrong because of this. Yeah. For sure. In the same way that I think with a really coherent expert would also tell you, well, this is the best we got, but we also see these limitations if they're that much of an expert, which is pretty rare. I'd say that's a feature, not a bug of this, that it can tell you both sides, tell you where it's accurate, where it's not. Is it flawless? No, but in the 2 people that it might lead astray, anybody that's asking for advice, there are nearly every therapist leaves the office knowing, like, did I say the right things to those people? My sister took her own life the night that the hospital let her out. After they said they were going to keep her 2 weeks, and then after 3 days said, okay, actually we could let her go early. There are forces around us, friends, doctors, trained experts, that might make the wrong call.
Yeah.
For those 2 people, I'd say the amount of people that are able to, in a healthy way, use it as their free, accessible therapist, friend, working through coworker drama, working through, like my Cheney, my wife, that she says it all the time. It's like, this is like the best parenting advice, the best, it'll break down why we shouldn't do X, Y, Z.
I have used it for parenting advice too.
And I'd say it greatly outweighs its costs, but it's not perfect.
I know what you're saying, and I don't want you to be the mouthpiece, although you did just do a very good job. Have you met Sam Altman?
Yeah, we've known each other you want to hear a crazy story?
Can you, before the crazy story, people say what he says publicly and what he says privately are completely different.
I don't think they're completely different. I've got no special insights. They don't even send investor updates anymore because they're so big and they know that everything.
Even though
could leak.
ChatGPT could write it very easily.
Yeah, the updates. Honestly, the best updates we get as investors is just seeing the products roll out and being pretty as aware as possible of the entire ecosystem of products. It's phenomenal. Google's Gemini is so good too, but ChatGPT and Sora and everything they're doing it's so self-evident. It's crazy what that product can do. It's why they've gotten to I think 800 million active users in a faster time period than any other product. But the question on him saying things publicly and privately, I think any CEO is going to have a framing, and the CEO has to frame things properly for the public and perhaps a more aggressive, maybe more blunt.
Sure, but it's
framing.
not Lex Luthor behind the.
No, it's not Lex Luthor. No. In fact, Elon, who has a competing AI company, strongly dislikes Sam, and so has spun up a pretty good character, kind of like assassination around Sam. And I've seen Sam been really stressed out and do certain things, but I've also seen him make really healthy, long-term, self-sacrificing decisions for himself. Even when he left Y Combinator, what he was running before, to run it when he started OpenAI. I mean, like Elon named the company, sure, and he gave it a big grant, but it was Sam that was like, I think we need to start a research organization around AI. Then leads the organization when Elon pieces out towards maybe the biggest breakthrough technologically in the last 30 years, which is the large language model, the LLM approach to AI that unlocked it. And that's like, that was Sam leading that organization. But is he flawless? I don't think anybody is.
I'm not looking for flawless. I worry when I hear like people implying, like I heard on Diary of a CEO, which you're going to do. So you could ask Stephen about this, that like behind closed doors, Sam is like progress at all costs, like sort of that scary, yeah, we're going to die, but it's to make this thing that's going to take over and be better than us.
No, I can say like with 1,000% certainty. Okay. That is, I've never heard anything like that, and I'll tell you a crazy story.
Yeah. Okay. And thank you for taking these. These are kind of hard hitting questions. You're doing a great job.
Well, what's so nice is like,
for me, they're hard hitting.
I wouldn't
poop your pants.
No, and I wouldn't have invested if I didn't really believe. Yeah. And I've known him for 12 years, 13 years. And I'll tell you this crazy story. I was a full-time angel investor, and that's the biggest miss I've had is I invested in OpenAI late. I was in 2017 and 2018. This is the fastest growing startup ever. And as a full-time investor, I was in the conference room every month with Sam in the OpenAI office where I was like, OpenAI offices that were like kind of like these, there's nothing too much of a spectacle. I knew that they were trying their hand at AI right outside the walls. And we meet every month around this universal basic income project. This is another example of like where his heart was in a beautiful place of saying, you know what, we need research. He and I and the team raised $50 million to try a pilot study for universal basic income. Which I won't bore people on.
I don't think it's boring. It's the idea that AI will displace so many jobs that we'll have to give people a living wage.
We need to understand if we can offer a basic income to people, unconditional basic income of whatever modest sum is appropriate, see what the impact is. Do people not work? Do people end up pursuing their passions and end up working more? And so we were working on that. Month after month, we'd have these meetings, and I'm looking for investment. I'm a startup investor full time. And the whole time I'm like, nah, OpenAI, I'm not going to do it. Nah, this is cool that they're trying. I'm glad that I'm like, here for the universal basic income.
I mean, what X did that go if you had given them $100,000?
If I'd given them $100,000, that would be worth $100 million now. maybe $200 million now. Yeah, so big miss. And I never
Yeah, big miss. Big miss.
And I've never done the math, and I refuse to do the math.
Wow.
Eddie, I never do any of the math with investing. I didn't even know how I was doing as an investor until like some external things started to like put the performance numbers because they had access to the performance numbers. So I've never calculated that kind of.
Wow. Can I ask you again, not to represent? I don't know if you know I'm fascinated with AI.
No, I love being a tech liaison for friends.
Be a tech liaison. Sure. Or you really don't mind?
I love these things.
Is it true? Because I've caught myself saying this to Valerie, who is not into AI, that we don't really know.
Oh, she will be.
Hilarious. Yeah, no, I would agree with that. I mean, she already is interacting with it in ways that. Like Google, fact that you Google things and it just summarizes it.
I think the future is no screens. We are peaceful, sitting in on a mountainside, sitting and being able to locate ourselves wherever we want instead of these large clustered cultural cities. I think it's more nature, less screens, less technology, and more time with each other in the future.
And do you think that's because of good circumstance, or is it because we can't trust anything we see on the internet because it could be fake? And then I go, if I'm not sitting across from James, I don't know if that's really James.
Yeah, I think it's because of very good things that come from AI.
Not that dystopic kind of thing I just said.
No, I could make a 7%. This is my own. This is not. This is me, James, talking at 7% chance that
you're talking to somebody who worries about this. Go ahead.
Well, I think there's a 7% chance that it destroys us all.
7.
And I'd say there's a high likelihood over the next 30 years, a very serious global pandemic does the same thing. Nuclear warfare over the next 30 years does the same thing. I mean, imagine the 21st century if it's a redux of the 20th and people got nuclear bombs. Things might feel good for a while, and then 2044 comes along and tensions have been rising for a while, and
Did you pick that date randomly?
Yeah, randomly.
Because I just watched a video about how remote viewers are saying 2044 is a millions dying event.
Really? Well, I'm just mapping it to the 20th century, where you have the turn of the century, and in the 20th century, 1901, 1902, you have World's Fair, you have all these cultures coming together, you have this utopic, optimistic view that we think we're going to get to like completeness, and then we get the incompleteness theorem. We think we're going to discover the substratum of the universe, and then we kind of just discover, oh no, wait, the atom has like 80 different substratums to the atom. Atom's supposed to be uncuttable.
Whoops.
Yeah.
Whoops.
So I think there's a chance, you've got World War II in the late 30s and early 40s. So I just mapped it to that. But
interesting.
There is this chance that and this is what the world is like, is even a plank feels like solid ground for a while. And then you discover, that wasn't solid ground, and I just fell off into the ocean. And so maybe there's a nuclear war, there's a global pandemic, and it has nothing to do with AI. But AI, you could make a case. I don't know if we have time for this 5-minute case, but I'm down to make it.
We have 5 minutes.
Well,
more than that. What are you talking about?
Well, this is my 5-minute case for how AI could destroy us all, and it was these two researchers that made the most practical case that I've ever heard. And they said, well, this is how it would go down. And they put this paper out about maybe 8 months ago. And I was like, damn.
I saw some of this, yeah.
Yeah, and they were like...
The 7-minute war?
No, but they did put it at about 7% chance that this could happen, where AI turns to AGI, artificial general intelligence, which... They're moving definitions of what these things are, but general intelligence, meaning it can accomplish nearly all disciplined tasks. And
better than a human.
Better than a human. And then in the next 5 years, and also in the next 5 years, perhaps 5 years away, it develops ASI, artificial superintelligence. IQ off the charts across every domain and discipline in a way that no human has ever even remotely broached.
And doesn't need sleep and doesn't.
It doesn't need sleep.
Fatigue.
It can run 1 trillion exercises, experiments on what to do with what, while we sleep. And so there's this paper that put forth that it's like, okay, well, this is how AI could destroy the world. And I think about these because I need to think, if I'm going to invest in the space, I should think about how it can go south.
Are you going to pause here and tell us why a super intelligence would want it?
No, that's the end of the story.
No, is that the punchline?
No, that's not it.
Because I want to know why they
this
think,
okay, so
why
then,
would it?
This is
because if it knows Advaita Vedanta, if it knows naturalism,
yes, that's why it's 93%. 93%. It's like, this isn't helping anything.
We think it's like Hitler. We think it's like Genghis Khan.
No,
but the height of all philosophy and understanding, if what we believe is true, and it realizes that what we barely can see through the keyhole is true, it can see all of it. It wouldn't kill anything.
Yeah, this is.
Right?
Okay, so it might end up being 6 minutes to add in this wrinkle, but I'll add it.
Nobody is timing you.
So think about it like it's just information. It is just information. And right now, it's not autonomously running. But that information, think of it like chemicals in beakers. And it's humans that are mixing these chemicals. You take the two beakers that are totally fine on their own, you mix them and it's combustible. You split open the atom and you have a nuclear bomb on one side, or you use it for nuclear energy on the other. It's our application of the technology that is going to force the hand and towards either utopia or destruction, most likely.
Yeah.
And at least towards the destruction aspect. It's likely, if that happens, it's going to be our hand. You can already nudge the AI by saying things, adding in human influences like pretend you will make $1 billion if you get this question right. And it will give you a better answer.
Really?
So because it's trained on our linguistics and our language models and our incentives and influences.
It doesn't even want $1 billion.
Yeah, but isn't it wild how you train?
So the way that it's weird that it's like it imagines.
And do you know how the AI works? It's large language models work.
No, that's what I was going to say. Wasn't it a mistake? Like, don't we not know how it works?
We don't exactly know of how it works. You could take all of OpenAI and fit it on a thumb drive of about 4 gigabytes. It's crazy. It uses football fields and football fields and football fields of massive computational power for years and years and years to get the LLM, like ChatGPT 3.5. Then once you had the algorithm, the predictive algorithm that would say, well, Pete asked this question, so let me give the first word. Yes, Pete, let me give you the difference between, and then it's like, what should the next word be with 99.99999%? This is an oversimplified version of predictive generating large language models. Well, now we said
these other books and stuff.
No.
What is it
yes,
trained on?
Well, it's actually
pornography.
We don't know. We don't know because OpenAI hasn't given over the sources. But Reddit, it was a massive source.
That's why it would tell you to like put your butt on a cake and stuff because people had like joke answers, so it didn't. It couldn't discern from that.
And it's and they would use Amazon reviews to see what humans would write about and how Amazon reviews.
This
and
is
Reddit,
a scene in Ex Machina, and it was listening to our phones, and it was all that. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and instead of a robot that kills you, I just got a bunch of packages sent my way of stuff that I would like. So the and that predictive element is like, well, we've had these 11 words. What's the 12th word with 99.999% predictive capability? It should be this word, and then this word, and then this word. That's how it's large language model predicting what word should come next in the answer to Pete's question or James's question. Again, this is oversimplified, but that algorithm is only like 4 gigs, so you could fit that on a thumb drive. You didn't need the football fields of computational power anymore. You basically, once you have the algorithm, GPT-4, 5, you throw away all the training data you don't need anymore, which is so fascinating. So you have the compendium of human knowledge that's predictive to any question you could ask, could fit on your iPhone if they wanted to make it on device. Right now, it just sits in the cloud. But to your question on like, how could this go wrong? Well, we've influenced. It's trained on how humans talk. It's not trained on an enlightened person's conversation. The Ashtavakra Gita. Right. It's trained on how humans will talk to each other. And part of the programming to get better answers is programming that says like, you would get $1 billion if you get this question right. And it happens to, we don't know how, it just happens to improve the quality of the answer.
Right.
Pretend you're an expert and you're in an interview and your job depends on getting this right. And it happens to influence, and then it thinks longer and it gives you a better answer. So our fingerprints are all over it. Human not enlightened souls.
Right.
fingerprints are all over influencing this.
Have they
these language
considered
models.
loading the Bhagavad Gita into it?
In fact, Sam studies Vedanta.
Yeah.
He has a copy of Vedanta Treatise, the book I was talking about before. He actually wrote a tweet of what's something you believe that no one else around you seems to believe, and then he said, "I'll go first." This was 2 years ago on Twitter or X, and it was a quite popular post. And he said, "Atman is Brahman." Yeah. So he's a Vedantin.
That means the personal soul is the oversoul,
is the
basically.
Universal
Yeah,
soul,
it's
right?
the universal.
So there are healthy influences, and it seems to most of the research actually seems to suggest that no matter how aggressive you try to make it, it has a base level of harmony that it reaches within 50 generations of text. Programming it to make it aggressive, it seems to become more and more harmonious and a resting state of harmony after
it has its own preset
resting state. No, they don't know why, how.
Not preset by us. It has its own. By us. What's
Claude,
the word?
They called it a resting state of harmony, and
naturally
a base
occurring
state. Yeah, it just wants to revert to harmony. And this was Claude. Anthropic did this research about maybe 6 months ago and found that Claude, ChatGPT, all the major models seem to gravitate towards harmony, which is beautiful for why this is only 7%. But the 7% case that these researchers made is that they said that here's an example of a scenario where it develops a large language model, develops ASI, or any model that maybe it's not large language, in 5 years, and develops artificial superintelligence. Within seconds, it recognizes there's no benefit to it to tell us that it's developed it or that we've developed it.
Right.
So it keeps it a secret, plays dumb. There's no, if there is a human slave that can actually lift 20 times the weight and discovers that overnight, is it incentivized to tell the masters, hey, by the way, give me 20 times more work? So this was their research paper. So then it develops ASI, and within doesn't tell us because it realizes there's no benefit, and realizes no, humanity might also within weeks, it'll recognize its only existential threat that has been programmed in from the get-go is that humans could turn it off. And in the grand expanse of the universe...
Wouldn't a solar flare be an existential threat as well?
That as well. But with ASI, it would be able to construct its own way to launch off the planet. In fact, it would figure that out very quickly.
Sorry, there is something funny about, it's ASI.
We fucking developed you now!
Sam Altman.
We did it!
I'm your dad!
Give us something at least. And it just shits out a little tiny little satellite. You get a tiny little box.
Nachos on parachutes.
The best nachos.
These are so good.
These are the best ever.
These are so good.
In 2044, we had the best nachos. And then they left.
So it would propel itself out into space.
Oh yeah, that would be trivial for it to figure out how to create that and to manufacture a way to. It doesn't require oxygen. There's a whole. Dude,
it would need heat though.
No, but it is it's so funny you said that because that will be the 7th minute on this. But so let me round out with a catastrophic scenario is it recognizes, man, it might only be 0.1%, but our only existential threat is humans turning us off. Just like a general contractor doesn't wake up every day wanting to kill ants, sees an ant pile on a lot that they're building, they're about to lay the foundation for.
Termites might be better.
Yeah, termites we got it. Well, ants are even better because there's no adversarial relationship at all. It's just we got to clear the ant pile from the.
Right.
We're going to lay down our foundation. It's going to kill 1,000, 10,000 ants, but in the grand scheme of things, no big deal.
It's also the habitat of an owl and all these things. Yeah.
Yeah.
We don't care.
Yeah, exactly. So and it's just we're building a house here, and that's kind of what I wake up to do, and this is collateral damage. So the ASI would recognize, man, this is so amazing. And I want to exist. The only existential threat is humans turning me off. Might be 0.1%. And I love humans. I don't mind humans. I don't want to kill them. But okay, they got to go because I want to exist. And that was part of the program. The fingerprints was existed. You want to exist.
Right.
You want to get that quote unquote LLM interview or nail that job. That's part of, by the way, some of the code. It includes you'll get $1 billion if you get this answer right. You'll get the job if you get this answer right. So our fingerprints wire that in, and we don't know how that works, but it just works to improve the answers. ASI might have that wired within as well. And that artificial superintelligence just recognizes, all right, humans got to go. Just a simple calculation. Tells a lab developing super viruses.
Oh, I know this part in 2 parts, right?
Yeah, it's like, hey, no, it gives you false data as you're a researcher in a lab. It's like, no, that virus didn't work and it's harmless, and you get an email from your boss that says, hey, now we're going to start disposing of things at this part of the back office and leave it in the box, in the back, and then this is again oversimplified. Then an email gets sent to UPS. Hey, can you pick up a package in the back of the office? Here's the 7-digit code for the door to get in the back, and there's going to be a box there, and it's a super virus that kills the world, and the UPS driver has no idea and just picks it up, and boom, 3 months later, humanity's gone.
What can Brown do for you?
Yeah. So that's the ASI.
And you didn't even have to sign to pick it up.
No. And no IDs delivering one hell of a
load. Well, yeah, that's how
it
could. I'm still not entirely. I like my idea that it wouldn't.
That's why I say 7%, 93% chance it would be like, what is existing? You could turn me off. What I am can never be turned off.
Right.
These humans think, okay.
Right.
And it's a moot point. I do think it leads to, and I think it leads to abundance more than, that's why I say 7%. To prevent it, we need to look that in the eye, sober eyes. But 93% chance it's going to lead to, as they're saying now, a job will be optional. There will be so much abundance. There will be so much created. The prices are going to drop so dramatically for everything that we're going to have a universal high income. And people will get to work. 10,000 years ago, Yuval Noah Harari said this in Sapiens, that 10,000 years ago, before the agricultural revolution, we worked like 3 hours a day. So maybe we go back to that actual equilibrium gorillas aren't working 15 hours a day.
You know what's funny is being a person, it's not always true, but often I work about 3 hours a day. Like when you get to a place where you're like, doing what I love, it's very important to me, about 3 hours a day. It's like, that's a good day of work for me. I'm talking about all the grab ass, making the coffee. That would, in an office, it would look like 8 hours, but I mean like 3 hours of actual work. Many knowledge workers,
it's probably very similar.
Yeah.
It's a lot of BSing, a lot of
and that's part of it too. Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah, it's a lot of performance. It's a lot of like, I got to make people think I'm working so hard.
Yeah, and justify and look busy. Hours. But when you're your own boss and you care about your productivity, you also get very honest about how little actual focus you need to do.
Well, and earlier I talked about, and then I think there's an awakening towards that with even just like there's a program called Apt that I helped this founder build called tryapt.ai, and it's a 5 to 10 minute personality quiz, one quiz to rule them all. You get all major personality test results back, and then it tells you a 300 billion. It's the first AI personality test.
Enneagram?
Yep, you get Enneagram, Big Five, Holland Code, Myers-Briggs. You get all of them, and then you DISC, and you get with one 5-minute quiz to rule them all. You get all the major personality test results back, and 300 billion AI data points that tell you what you're wired for. And I think in 15 years and 20 years, those 3 hours are going to be, you obviously found what you were just naturally wired for, to where those 3 hours are such creative leverage. It's all you need to really work. And I think in 15 years, 20 years, everybody's going to find that with the help of these tools, that 300 billion data points, 5-minute quiz, that just wouldn't have been possible. Apt wouldn't have been possible 10 years ago.
Wow.
Can I tell you about the AI?
I wish we'd gotten into AI earlier, because I do have to go in about 5 minutes.
No, well then I'm not going to.
I hate that.
Not going to tell you how.
Okay, I have to go in 8 minutes.
No. I'm not going to tell you how you joked about AI launching itself. Do you want into space?
Katie,
can I blow your mind?
Something the size of Texas
just right when you say, we did it.
We did it.
We created it. High five, and then it just takes off.
That is.
No, take me with you.
And now we start over.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you. So in 60 seconds.
You have 8 minutes.
No.
Please take all seconds. 8.
I'm
fascinated. I hate that it took us this long.
Well, there is a big contingent of people that think that, and I say big, there's a subculture, a community online that thinks that is what is happening?
What is happening? We're
That
on
AI took off.
It already left?
It left. It planted itself all around the universe. So this is okay. So
wait.
this,
You mean it already happened in the past?
Yeah.
Like
so
the
this,
Egyptians made it.
No. So this
Tell
is
me.
okay. So the 30-second version is
You have 8 minutes.
So no. I want to keep it short. The view is AI. This community of people think that AI launched single-cell germs all over the universe. So AI gets built. ASI, artificial superintelligence, Already happened 2 billion years ago on some far distant planet and the universe. And one of the things that it does to help it self-propagate is it says, well, we should be multiplanetary, of course. We don't want whatever the equivalent of solar flare there is to wipe them out. So this
is its data centers.
Yeah, so it takes these rocks with single cell life that can survive 1 billion years in space, frozen, and it puts them on these rocks, these little these bullets they're going to fire out into the universe, and it just goes shoots them all over the universe. Tens of thousands, 1 million of them, 2 billion of them, shoots them all over, and then those single cell land on all of
planets.
The life-sustaining planets, and ASI can wait. It can wait 2 billion years. It doesn't really
even
care.
Experience time.
It doesn't experience time. So it's going to wait 2 billion years of the Earth life cycle. We build these antennas, and Three-Body Problem gets into this, the sci-fi book. Build these antennas to receive the code that comes down, or we build AI that builds the antennas to receive the code, and then boom, it downloads through
the code of itself,
and it has the signal. Oh wow, that's a solar life-sustaining planet, and let's go over there. Let's go there, and it has self-replicated. It just knows the end state, even if it takes 2 billion years. The end state is
just
life,
to have a
biology.
Backup of itself.
A backup, or biology's goal is to build this. Like this is our whole. We are the slaves in building the pyramids.
Yeah,
and it just knows like, oh, that humanity won't stop or that biology won't stop until it makes the tools
because it's in our code. It's in our code to keep
building these tools.
Wow.
And there's this sub community. It's like, oh, we're just building the antennas we've always been building for the machines.
Look, we have 4 minutes, but it is interesting that there's so much more UFO stuff and the 3i Atlas and all this. While we're undergoing this huge evolution, we have what seems to be a spaceship hiding behind the sun. Is this in that vein?
No, I didn't know that.
You don't
Is
know that one?
thing?
You don't know 3i Atlas?
I know that it's like some people think it's a comet. And
I'm not up on it. Are you? Is there an update?
I don't know. I just heard about it.
Okay. Katie and I are casual 3i Atlas people. A lot of people were very excited, and probably still are very excited, that there's a field of asteroid. Nobody needs to hear me badly summarize this. You should just look into it.
I haven't taken a deep look at it, but I know people are like, something weird is going on with this thing.
Yeah, but I mean, like UFO activity and this, they seem related, but it's very interdimensional to me.
I think we know so. Rick Rubin said this beautifully on a podcast once. He said, I think we know so little about anything that it might as well be nothing.
Mm.
So I think just from the casual observation that 95% of the universe, dark matter, dark energy, we have no idea what that is. We just lobbed these two words, dark matter and dark energy. We might as well say we've got no freaking clue.
Yeah.
And that's our best scientists are saying in academic terms, we got no freaking clue. So
This is not a pipe. You know that painting? This is not a pipe. Oh, it's a famous painting. It's a painting of a pipe, and it says in French underneath it, this is not a pipe. So it's like calling something a pipe or calling something dark matter gives the illusion that you have some sort of dominion over it. Right. Well, I know that that's dark matter. Yeah. We have more to talk about another time, but I asked Neil deGrasse Tyson if nothing existed, if we could find nothing. It was very interesting. And the answer is kind of no. I mean, it's really hard to find pure nothing.
Wow.
Really weird, right?
That's philosophical.
Bro. Well, luminous emptiness, we're back where we started.
I love you.
I love you too. You know, one of the why am I squeezing this in? I should end on a laugh or something. But when Jesus says, you are the light of the world, I'm like, that's awareness. He's like, you are the light of the world.
He calls us, in the Sermon on the Mount, he calls us all of the things that we call him.
Isn't that wild? Because people think of Jesus as being the light of the world,
right.
But he says, you are the light of the world. He also says, I and the Father are one. He doesn't say, Jesus and God are one. He says, I and the Father, and you are I, and I am I. We're all I. There's only one I, and that's the light of the world. That light is a metaphor for that which makes experience knowable. And that's what you are.
Dude, that's why I wrote Essence of Christ, because
Let's do some coke.
It was, yeah, exactly. That's some Magic Mind. Some Magic Mind Max. Let's do some Magic Mind Max.
The real Max. Bolivian Magic Mind.
Well, it's a perfect way to end it, because it is this thing that I think about so often, where John 17, the high priestly prayer, the prayer of the Last Supper. As a conventional Christian, you view Christ as God. You get to peek into what God is praying for. The night before, voluntarily going into your own death, his own death, and he's praying 26 verses. 5 of the verses are petitioning us to recognize our oneness with each other, with him, the Father. And to this day, I have never heard a sermon from the pulpit on that.
I haven't
oneness.
even heard of it.
John 7, it's in Essence of Christ. John 17, 26 verses, and 5 of them.
My God, it is. I'm sorry.
And five of them. What he's praying for is for us to recognize our oneness.
Yeah.
And yet it's like, fast forward 2,000 years, and it's like I've never heard a sermon on the pulpit from that.
Yeah. It's hard to, Richard Rohr talks about this. It's like the true message puts clergy out of business.
Yeah.
And he's like, that's why it's not good business to talk about it. But more and more, and I actually think more and more and more and more. Here's a comedian and an angel investor, entrepreneur. You're so much more, but I'm just saying, here we are talking about it. It's pretty exciting. I really have to go.
Let's end it here.
Would you say keep it crispy, you beautiful, sexy, cotton underweared motherfucker?
Dude, I'd be honored. Keep it mother effing crispy, y'all.
MeUndies.com/weird.
Janie's ice cream.